Oil prices climbing this morning as OPEC Plus considers cutting production by 1 million barrels per day, the biggest output cut since 2020. OPEC Plus will be meeting Wednesday. What to make of this? The Schork Report principal, Stephen Schork, is here. Stephen, is this a surprise? What do you make of this?
It's absolutely a surprise considering fears of global recession. It just goes to show you how concerned that OPEC is with regard to an economic downturn. They're walking a fine line right now. They've seen a significant drop in price over the summer, and they're coming in here to try to install some stability in the market and likely try to push oil prices back up into that $90 range. But therein lies the conundrum that they are in. They don't want to make a production cut that is so aggressive that they're going to send oil prices zooming past $100 a barrel, thereby all in securing a significant economic downturn as our energy costs continue to rise. Their big concern right now is the value of the U.S. dollar, keeping in mind that global commodities are traded in dollars. So oil priced in non-dollar denominated economies, i.e. Europe, are paying a significantly higher price than they were. In addition, just to the commodity inflation we've seen, they're also getting banged on inflation. So OPEC is looking at this. They need to stanch the bleeding in lower prices. They want stability, but it is a fine line, as I said, of how high they want to see prices go. They'd like to see a floor put in prices right now, but keep it between here and likely $100 a barrel.
The West has yet to do two things to stop Vladimir Putin, and that is starve him of money and manpower. And on the money side, do you think that this is a move by OPEC Plus, and again, Russia is part of the plus, to keep Putin's and money, his riches, propped up?
No, I don't. I'm not going to go down there. I'm looking at this, Dagan, more from a fundamental economic standpoint. At this point, certainly Putin's going to benefit from higher prices, but keeping in mind that in December, waterborne exports of Russian oil into Europe will be banned. So regardless of how high prices go, Putin's not going to be able to benefit that with his shipments of oil not being sold into Europe. So what it certainly installs, Dagan, is increased volatility into the market. So we might be right. We might see a bottom here in oil prices in that mid $80 range and perhaps a high at $100. But I venture we're going to be balancing between 80 and 100, and that volatility is going to be paramount, and it's going to be a trader's dream over the next quarter to two to 3 quarters. But
because oil's fungible, what's going on, and the Russian oil is still flowing to the world market, and you're seeing, and one of our guests earlier was talking about it, Russian oil flows to India, and then India turns around and sells it to Europe. So that's why it's so hard to, the only thing you can do, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, Stephen, never, but the only thing the world can do is try to drive down the price of it if they really want to take on Vladimir Putin's greatest source of wealth and funding for that war. Let me ask you about California. California's got record high gasoline prices right now, and the difference between California's always high because of the high taxes. I think it's 66 cents a gallon, and the environmental regulations. But the difference between California and the rest of the country, I think the spread is the highest, is the widest it's been in 20 years. So are we really on the brink, the cusp of these idiot policies being exported to the rest of the nation?
That's what we're fearful for, and California is just absolutely mind-boggling. We're looking at a state that can't keep the lights on as it is, and they're now mandating laws that by 2030, no new residential hookups of natural gas. By 2035, we're going to have all cars EV. So when you have a state that cannot even keep the lights on today, when EVs are about 4% of the market, what happens when you have to plug in an additional additional 30 million cars, which is what the number is, over the next 12 years to our antiquated grid, that they're not making the necessary investments to get that power. They're not making the necessary investments to get that backup power, i.e. natural gas. When you're banning natural gas on new construction, you're not going to get an investment. You're not going to get any new supply. So it is a state that is woefully unprepared today, and it's not going to get any better. And yes, it is amazing that other states want to follow this lead. People don't realize that and I've said this before, Dagan, look, I drive an electric hybrid car. I love it because for the moment, it lowers my costs. But I'm not under the illusion I'm doing anything good for the economy. When we look at what happens to the earth and trying to get those rare metals out and what we're doing to our landfills with solar panels, that's not anything good for the economy. I'm doing it purely for my pocketbook, and that's what anyone is doing it. They might live under the false assumption that they're doing something good for the economy, but that's just their hubris that is coming forward.
Right, exactly. And whatever happened to choice? They want to take away that choice. Stephen Schork, thank you so much. Great to see you, sir. Always.
Thank you, Dagan.